It is such a blessing to enjoy the very simple things in life. I'm out truly outside and I'm enjoying just the cool breeze and the things that appear that we call simple. Sometimes they are the greatest, because what would our life be without them? And so we ought to be grateful. We should be grateful for even the things that we consider the least. I was reflecting on John chapter 2, and there's a story where Jesus, he went in the temple and he was so dissatisfied with what was going on. What were they doing? They were buying and selling. They were doing merchandise. And so he drove them out. He said, "This is my Father's house and it should not be used for this purpose. In fact, this house is a house of prayer. And you guys have changed what this house was made to do, the purpose of this house." Something happened when Jesus died and rose up. Something happened again. The new covenant started. And in the new covenant, we become the temple of the living God. And in Peter, the apostle Peter said, he said, "Listen, we are a peculiar people. We are a chosen race, a people that was set aside to proclaim the praise of God." Right? And so, just like the physical temple was set aside for prayer and for worship, Peter said that we, as believers, a new body of believers, we are set aside. It's kind of windy. We are set aside to proclaim his praises, right? So if the physical temple was set aside to for worship and for prayer, and we now become the temple of God, and we're set aside to proclaim his praises, what do you think we should be doing, right? If Jesus was so dissatisfied with how they treated the physical temple, because they were not treating the physical temple for it with the intended purpose, what it was intended to do, right? So if we don't treat God's temple now, right? If we don't carry out the purpose of what we are intended to do for Christ. I was just thinking, and what are your thoughts? I was just thinking, how is Jesus feeling about that? What are his thoughts, right? I mean, the Bible says that God doesn't change, right? And so if he took such great emphasis on the physical temple, can you imagine how he's feeling about the real temple, the building of God upon this earth, which is us, with him being the chief cornerstone? And so it's just a thought that kind of was in my mind, and I wanted to share it. So maybe it is something that we can think about, we can ponder on, and as we go along for the rest of the week, we can be able to get more clarity. But I think it's something worth thinking about. All right.